The Hualapai, Ulpa/Walapi, Hualapai, Hualbay, are a federally recognized Native American tribe in Arizona with about 2,300 enrolled citizens. Approximately 1,353 enrolled citizens reside on the Hualapai Reservation, which spans over 3 counties in northern Arizona, Coconino, Yavapai, and Mojave. The name, meaning people of the tall pines, is derived from Huel, the Hualapai word for ponderosa pine, and Pai people. Their traditional territory is a 108-mile, 174 kilometers, stretch along the pine-clad southern side of the Grand Canyon and the Colorado River with the tribal capital at Beach Springs. Other communities on the reservation include Valentine and Grand Canyon West. Government. The Hualapai tribe is a sovereign nation and governed by an executive and judicial branch and a tribal council. The tribe provides a variety of social, cultural, educational and economic services to its citizens. The Hualapai Nation Police Department provides law enforcement services to the people of the Hualapai Nation and its visitors and guests. Language. The Hualapai language is a Paiute branch of the Yuman-Cockimi languages, also spoken by the closely related Havasupai, and more distantly to Yavapai people. It is spoken by most people over 30 on the reservation as well as many young people. The Beach Springs School District runs a successful bilingual program for all local students, both Hualapai and non-Hualapai, in addition to immersion camps. Reservation. The Hualapai Reservation 35 degrees 54'25" and 113 degrees 07'58", covering 1,142 square miles, 2,960 square kilometers, was created by the Presidential Executive Order of Chester A. Arthur on January 4, 1883. 3. It is located in Coconino and Mojave counties. Its headquarters and most important community is Beach Springs. History and culture. Ceremonies. Major traditional ceremonies of the Hualapai include the maturity ceremony and the mourning ceremony. Nowadays the modern sobriety festival is also celebrated in June. Afterlife. The souls of the dead are believed to go northwestward to a beautiful land where plentiful harvests grow. This land is believed to be seen only by Hualapai spirits. Traditional dress. Traditional Hualapai dress consists of full suits of deerskin and rabbit skin robes. Traditional housing. Conical houses formed from cedar boughs using the single slope form called a wickiup. Reservation life. The Hualapai Reservation was created by executive order in 1883 on lands that just 4 regional bands considered as part of their home range, like the Yequatpa'a, Iquadba, Beach Springs Band, or Hakasapa'a, Haksahaba, Pine Springs Band. The other Hualapai regional bands, including the Havasupai, lived far away from the current reservation land. Hualapai War. The Hualapai War, 1865 to 1870, was caused by an increase in traffic through the area on the Fort Mojave-Prescott Toll Road, which escalated tensions and produced armed conflicts between the Hualapai and European Americans. The war broke out in May 1865, when the Hualapai leader Anaza was killed by a man named Hunter Tanuk in the area of Camp Willow Grove, and in March 1866. In response, a man named Clower was killed by the Hualapai, who also closed the route from Prescott, Arizona, to the Colorado River ports due to the conflict. The most important and principal Hualapai leaders, called Tokumate or Tokumet, at that time were Warbayuma of the Yavapai fighters subtribe, Shuram Shramorcharam of the Ha-Imet-Pa-Ai Serbat Mountain Band of the Middle Mountain People subtribe, Hitchi of the Plateau People subtribe, and Susquehanna, Sudjequadime, better known by his nickname Hualapai Charlie, Wallapai Charlie, or Wallapai Charlie of the Middle Mountain People subtribe. It was not until William Hardy and the Hualapai leaders negotiated a peace agreement at Beale Springs that the raids and the fighting subsided. However, the agreement lasted only 9 months when it was broken with the murder of Chief Warbayuba near present-day Kingman during a dispute with the Walker Party over the treaty. After the chief's murder, raids by the Hualapai began in full force on mining camps and settlers. The cavalry from Fort Mojave responded, with the assistance of the Mojave people, by attacking Hualapai ranch areas and razing them. The pivotal engagement took place in January 1868, when Captain S.B.M. Young, later joined in by Lieutenant Jonathan D. Stevenson, surprised the rancheria of Shoreham with his more than 100 warriors. Known as the Battle of Churampeak, it lasted all day. Stevenson fell in the first volley. The Hualapai managed to escape, but lost 21 warriors, with many more wounded. The battle broke the military resistance of the Hualapai. The Hualapai began to surrender, as whooping cough and dysentery weakened their ranks, on August 20, 1868. They were led by Chief Levi, half-brother to Shoreham and Hualapai Charlie VI, of the Amatwalapa'a, Madhwalaba, Hualapai Mountains Band, of the Yavapai fighters subtribe. The warrior Shoreham, who was known for his tenacity as a warrior, later surrendered, thus marking the end of the Hualapai Wars in 1870. It is estimated that one-third of the Hualapai people were killed during this war either by the conflict or diseases. Hualapai bands and villages ethnically. The Havasupai and the Hualapai are one people, although today, they are politically separate groups as a result of U.S. government policy. The Hualapai, Pa or Pai, had three subtribes: the Middle Mountain people in the northwest, Plateau people in the east, and Yavapai fighter in the south. McGuire, 1983. The subtribes were divided into 7 bands: Kruba, 1935, Manners, 1974, which themselves were broken up into 13, original 14, regional bands or local groups, Dobyns and Eula, 1970. The local groups were composed of several extended family groups, living in small villages. The Havasupai were one band of the Plateau people subtribe. Plateau people Coordvacopaia, the people up above, included 7 bands in the Plateau and Canyon country mostly east of the Truxton Canyon Wash, with Quagga-Wee/Hackberry Springs, and Grand Wash Cliffs, planted in Quartermaster Canyon with Matipka/Matabaka Spring, Merriwetika Canyon, with Merriwetika Spring, Indian Gardens, Milkweed Canyon, with HE''L/Milkweed Springs, Spencer Canyon, with Matuadita Spring, Peach Springs Canyon, with Yiga''T/Lower Peach Springs and Haketakwi''Va/Peach Springs proper, Diamond Creek Canyon, Guada, Prospect Canyon, Mohawk Canyon, and National Canyon. They also occupied portion of the eastern Hualapai Valley and Peacock Mountains, the Music Mountains. This area include the current Hualapai Reservation. Bands listed from west to east: Matavacapai, Northern People, Haduba Pa'a, Haduva Bar. Clay Springs Band, lived in the Grand Wash Cliffs, Music Mountains, and Aquarius Cliffs, suffered heavy losses during the war. Danikaha Pa'a, Danica Bar, Grass Springs Band, were largely able to stay away from the fighting. Villages, along the edge of the Grand Wash Cliffs: Hadu''Bar/Ha'aduba, Clay Springs, Haya, Hathakavakio, Hath''Ala/Hathiel, Salty, Spring, Huascat, Quagga, Quathakithata, Matipka/Matabika, Oi'a-Nisa, Spider Cave, Oi'a-Kanya'a, Danica/Danica, Grass Springs, Kokapai, Mesa People, Quagpa'a, Quaquibar, Hackberry, Springs, Bandor Truxton Canyon, Crozier Canyon Band, later merged with the Peach Springs Band. Helpa'a, Bar, Milkweed Springs Band, lived from Truxton Canyon, or Crozier Canyon, to Hacktaquiver. Peach Springs, suffered heavy casualties. Villages. The largest settlements were near Milkweed Springs and Truxton Canyon. Yocamva, today, Crozier, Spring. An American appellation, Jawilda. Hacktalakava, Hacktatudava, Hell, Milkweed Springs, was used in particular for the irrigation of tobacco. Kathatnaiha, Mukitagud, Quagga-Wee/Quag, Hackberry Springs, Suwi, Takiatawa, Wikanio-Niafkapai. Eastern people occupied the Colorado Plateau and Canyon lands, except for the Peach Springs Band. The northeastern local groups, the Pine Springs Band as well as the later Havasupai, were able to keep away from the fights successfully and thus avoid heavy losses. Yiquatpa'a, Iquadbar, Lower, Peach Springs Band, the present administrative headquarters Peach Springs, Hakdugwevi, of the Hualapai Reserve is located in its former territory. The Hackberry Band joined the Peach Springs Band after severe losses. Hackazapaa, Haksahaba, Pine Springs Band, also known as Stinking Water Band, joined use areas in the northeastern part of Hualapai Territory with the Havasuapaa Band, Havasuapaa, Havsuba, Cataract Canyon Band. Call themselves Havasubaha or Havsuba'a, people of the blue-green water, lived in several groups along Havasu Creek in the Cataract Canyon, Havasu Canyon, and in adjacent valleys of the Grand Canyon, today known as Havasupai. Villages, not included are that of the Havasupai, Aguada, Haktakwi ''va/Haktakwa/ Hakdagwi Peach Springs proper. Literally, a series, group of springs. Haxa, Hanyajiluaya, Thavnal Norwid, Wawakwaga, Wikasala, Many Sharp Points Mountain. Yiga ''T/Equat, Lower Peach Springs, Middle Mountain people Wituf Miyukapaa, Separate Mountain Range people 14, lived west of the Plateau people subtribe and mostly north of today's city Kingman, ranged over the Sobat and Black Mountains and portions of the Hualapai, Detrital, and Sacramento valleys. Sotal of Kapai, Western people, Wikwa-Atapaa, Wigawada-Ba, Red Rock Band, lived in the northern part of the area up to Lake Mead and Colorado River in the north. Joined the Sobat Mountain Band after heavy casualties. Ha-Imetpaa, Haymead, Ba. Literally, White Rock Water Band, better known as Sobat Mountains Band, lived in the southern portion of the area, principally in the Sobat Mountains, Haymead, north of Beale Springs. Villages. Most settlements were near springs along the eastern slopes of each mountain range: Amadata, Willow Beach near Hoover Dam, Chimthiap, Ha'ataba, Whiskey Springs, Ha'akamia/Ha'akime, Beale Springs, Hamsepa, near Temple Bar, flooded by Lake Mead, Hakatovaha, Ha'akala, Hamt/Ha'amet/Haymead, White Rock Water, name of a spring in the Sobat Mountains. Hathelikio, Ithiotanok Keniuatsi, Quatia, Nilta, Kunaiha, Savaha'a, Dolan Springs, Sinaha'a, Buzzard Spring, Thorinuya, Tevaha, today, Canyon Station, Waikuila, Wanaiha/Wanaha'a, Wikatavitava, Wikwaita, Wainyiktawaza, Kanamo Yavpai fighters. Yavpai fighters were the largest group, occupied the southern half of the Hualapai country and were the first to fight the enemy Yavpai, called by the Hualapai Jawa. The enemy, living direct to their south, were almost wiped out during the Hualapai War by fighting. Systematic destruction of supplies and fields by the U.S. Army and by famines and diseases erupting thereby. Bands listed from west to east: Hualapai, Haualapai, Hualbay, Tall Ponderosa Pine people, Pinery people, Amatwalapaa, Hawalapaa, Madhualaba. Literally, Ponderosa Pine Tree Mountain Band, better known as Hualapai Mountains Band, inhabited the Hualapai Mountains east of present-day Kingman and south of Beals Springs westward to the Colorado River Valley. Villages were concentrated near springs and streams at the northern end of the range: Walnut Creek, Hakjekada, Elwinya-Ha, Kawat, Taktadapakwevakapai, Kuefkopai. Southern people, Tukiorvlepaa, Tekulvapaa, Big Sandy River Band, also known as Haxagalaba, occupied the reach of permanent river flow along the Big Sandy River between Wikiup and Signal, although ranged over in the adjacent mountain slopes. Burrow Creek Band, lived on the southern tip of the territory of the Tukiorvlepaa, partly in Upper Burrow Creek Wilderness, farmed along streams and throughout canyons and plateaus along both sides of Burrow Creek, intermarried oft with adjacent Yavpai, therefore they were oft mistaken by the Americans for Yavpai. Joined after the war larger Hualapai local groups and some Yavpai villages: Burrow Creek, Chivkaha, Chimwansivio/Chimwavasaiawo, Little Cane Springs. Literally, he dragged a Kamayivi around. Hajiluaya, Hapu/K/Hapik/Haapuk, Kofa, Hot Spring, Quakwa, Quilhuata, Quathawa, Majo-O, Francis Creek, Takmi''Nva/Dakaminva, Big Cane Springs. Hakiatspai, Moon Mountain people, also known as Taltalkawa, occupied rugged mountain country. Ha'akiachapaa, Haji'ayaba, literally, Fort Rock Creek Band, better known as Mohon Mountains Band or Moona Mountain Band. Fort Rock Creek is the American appellation of a spring and their main settlement on Fort Rock Creek, headwaters of Trout Creek, lived in the Mohon Mountains. Walakai Japa Pa, Hualjajapa Ba, Juniper Mountains Band, lived in the Juniper Mountains. Villages: Cottonwood Creek, or Cottonwood Station, Hakeskia _L/Ha-Akesbil, where one creek goes into another, Ha-Aki-Archa/Haka_Ch/Hakiats, Fort Rock Creek Spring, main settlement, K'_N.Y.U. Tekwa, Night Creek, Thathakalavallava, Trout Creek, Willow Creek, Wikatava, Whiteavikival, Witkitanakwa. Education sections of the Hualapai Reservation in Mohave County are within the Beach Springs Unified School District and the Hackberry School District. According to the Valentine Elementary School District, some Hualapai students go outside of the reservation to that school district as Beach Springs USD closed its high school, Music Mountain Junior, Senior High School, in 2008. High school students may attend school in the Kingman Unified School District or the Seligman Unified School District. According to Coconino County's Parcel Viewer, the Hualapai Reservation sections in that county are in the Unorganized School District number 00. According to Arizona law, an unorganized school district is one that does not have a high school. The portion of the Hualapai Reservation in Yavapai County is within the Seligman District.